Expanding consciousness. What does that even mean? Like, how do we find answers inside? All this look inside, find peace inside, look deeper. Hi, my name is Kim. Welcome to my channel. And I would like to give you a perspective that is beyond the mind, beyond logic, beyond the rules, beyond surface level. So you got to be a little more open-minded. This is not just spiritual woo-woo. This is mind expansion. Like, most of us live inside invisible walls, like rules, beliefs, fears, expectations, and we've been conditioned to stay small and to be good, to be safe, to follow the plan. And over time, those limits become so normal that we stop noticing them. And we think that we're choosing, but we're just obeying the programming. And expanding consciousness means waking up from that system. And it means remembering who you are beneath the fear. It means having the courage to do what you actually want to do. That's where the magic starts. Expansion begins when you start asking real questions. What would you do if money wasn't an issue? If there were no rules, no judgment, no fear, what would your life look like? And I know you're rolling your eyes. I heard these questions before, but I feel like deep down your answer will be, travel, bigger house, hookers and blow. And then, the negative thoughts kick in. Like, I need money for that. I need to survive. I can't do any of that. This is stupid. I need my bread and butter. How am I supposed to do this? I got to stick to the rules, whatever, That's the loop you're stuck in. All this, I need money, 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 money. That's just your excuse for staying small. And, there's people out there traveling the world with little money. There's this guy who walked to Thailand. It took him a year, but he did that. Then I saw another girl, 25 years old, rebuilding her own apartment, ripping out the walls, replacing the ceiling based off YouTube tutorials. Stop saying that money is the issue or whatever excuse you're making up. You are the issue. Your beliefs, your comfort zone, your fear of doing it differently. And some of you might be thinking, I need comfort, that's not for me. Okay, then stay in your lane and don't complain. Let others do it, and you stay stuck where you are. And I know some of you might be thinking, it's so easy for you to say, you're privileged, you're a white woman, you're beautiful. Of course it's easier for you to take risks and face your fears. I get that. Yes, I have privilege. I won't deny that. But privilege doesn't cancel out fear. Beauty doesn't stop anxiety. And simply, doubt and trauma do not care about your skin color, where you're from, your passport, your Instagram feed. We all have different obstacles. Everybody is dealt with, a different card deck. Mine might be a little better than others, but every single one of us has that inner voice that says, you're not enough. You can't do that. You will fail. It's not about comparing pain or circumstances. It's about deciding, even with the cards you've been dealt with, to stop playing small. Expansion doesn't require perfection. It just requires honesty and the courage to take one little step. So let me paint a little picture. Imagine someone who's lived their whole life in a cage inside a zoo. They're used to it, feel safe, they have food, water, a routine, and the twist is that they don't want to leave the cage. They want a bigger cage, a nicer one, maybe a better view. That's how most of us live. We think we're expanding by getting a better job, a better relationship, more money, more cars, more women, but we're still inside the cage of fear, comfort, and limitation. We're just decorating it. And some people, they have the biggest cages and they have millions in the bank. They drive luxury cars, they have beautiful houses, they travel the world. They have everything on the outside, but they're still miserable. Why? Because their soul isn't free. They've expanded on the outside, great, but not on the inside. They still don't trust themselves. They still feel disconnected. They still don't know how to sit with their emotions or follow their inner voice. So they stay busy, distracted, consuming, seeking validation. But true expansion, that doesn't come from making the cage prettier. It just comes from realizing you were never meant to be in a cage at all. Another thing that I see is that a lot of people wait until retirement, to finally live. They grind for 40 years so they can, enjoy life when they're 65. And that for me is just just a form of soul crushing. Like it's slowly crippling yourself, while calling it responsibility. And then, there's the constant story that we tell ourselves. Oh, I need a stable job. I need my bread and butter. I need safety. I need that certificate. I need that degree, that title, and then I'll do this. First this, and then I'll do it. That is just postponing life. So you're chasing after safety when the truth is, safety is an illusion. There's no guarantee. Tomorrow isn't promised. I know you've heard all this, but it's so true. If you keep waiting for the right time, you realize you missed out on the magic of now. It sounds so cheesy, but what if life is now? What if the moment you're waiting for, it will never come because you're already in it, Stop postponing joy. Stop postponing your soul's desire. Life isn't something you earn, it's something you choose right now. It comes from stepping outside of what you've known so far into the unknown, into truth, into freedom. And it's wild out there, I would say, uncertain, vulnerable. But it's also where your soul wants to play and where life, I'd say, starts feeling real. It's where the magic happens. So another thing to imagine is you're standing inside a circle. And that circle is your comfort zone, like everything your habits, your routines, your beliefs. And it's very safe in there, very predictable, familiar. But around that edge of the circle, like that's where the fears live. What if I fail? What if I get rejected? It's not going to work out. What if I lose everything? And the only way to expand that circle is to move towards those fears, to step outside that line of the circle. Yeah, you just got to take that leap to go towards that fear. So for me, just to give you a real example, I was really scared of leaving the US for a long time. I immigrated and then my status was pending. And even when I had my green card, I don't know, I just had this fear that I won't be able to come back in. The whole Trump propaganda, the whole Trump era. I was just terrified for no reason. I don't know, I was just overthinking and telling myself, no, I gotta stay safe, whatever. And then one day I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to Mexico. And I was standing at the airport, shaking, like I was anxious, like, man, just like going through the TSA, which is so normal, not a big deal for others. Like I thought I was gonna have diarrhea, I'm gonna poop myself, I'm gonna throw up. And once I walked past the TSA, I was fine. I was good. And, I had a good time in Mexico. And then the same thing when I came back in, oh my God, like I was shaking, I was getting, and I just walked past the border and that was fine. And since then, I've been way more relaxed. And, it's such a small thing, like other people's won't comprehend, but for me, it was just such a big step. Now I'm relaxed. Now I can travel. Now I don't have fears anymore. But like for 5 years, I was just stuck in my head, in my cage. Fear can really block you from getting to a better space, a deeper space. It's same with, quitting jobs, you're going to ask yourself, how am I going to survive? What if money stops coming in? All these voices. But staying stuck because of fear is just way more painful than facing the unknown. Again, that's what fear does. It tricks you into staying small. But when you face it, even just a little, you realize, that wasn't that big of a thing and, not as big and scary as I thought. And every time you do that, every time you lean into fear, your circle gets a little bigger and your life expands. You become more relaxed. You become more peaceful. Fear is literally just a door that you have to open, and there's great things behind it. Some say we choose our lives before we're born. The challenges, the heartbreaks, the lessons, and you might not have chosen the exact events, but you did choose the theme, the growth. Choose to learn how to speak your truth, to love yourself, to break free. And life keeps giving you experience to master that. You still have free will. You decide if and how you grow, but you didn't come here to suffer. You came here to remember who you are, as cheesy as it sounds. If you're feeling scared, unsure, stuck, you're not failing, you're evolving, and you're already on the path. The fact that you're here watching this video, curious about consciousness, means that something inside of you is waking up. And the biggest lesson I've learned is that when you stop resisting, when you just let go and feel the fear fully, when you stop trying to control it all and grasp, hold on to it, that's when true expansion happens. All you gotta do is breathe, relax, and just know you got this. Your soul is already leading the way. You're here, you're watching this. Yeah, so to sum it up, expansion means facing your fears without trying to conquer them. And it just starts with little things like saying something you always wanted to say. All you got to do is like one little step, and even if it's shaky, and trusting that whatever happens, happens for you. Not everybody is going to like it. Not everyone is going to stick around, and that's okay. Sometimes when people react negatively, it's not your fault. It's not your frequency, and you might be giving them a chance to heal just by holding up a mirror that they've been avoiding. You know, you do the deeper work. It's about looking inside gently and honestly. Observe yourself. You know, I talk to myself in third person, like, oh, Kim is scared right now. She's painting the worst case scenario. Yeah, it just adds humor, space, love, and all I can say is just feel your emotions, even when they're uncomfortable. Locate them in your body. Fear usually sits here in the solar plexus, sometimes in the throat. Just welcome them in. You know, stop running. Stop hiding behind rules, fear, opinion of others, expectations of others. Stop saying, you know, not yet. Oh, when it's safer, when I got this, when I got that. That's just another cage. Also, another thing, spiritual tools, you know, like meditation, breath work, plant medicine, they can help you expand. Like I said, they're tools. Use them if they call you. If you think, oh, ayahuasca or, I don't know, shrooms are for you, try it. You know, why not? But there's so many ways to expand your consciousness. There's not just, you know, one road, one way. Whatever calls you. Expansion is not about doing more. It's about being more of yourself. Just, you know, raw, honest, free, authentic. And that starts inside. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments and follow for more.